हेलो एवरीवन। आज हम बात करेंगे म्यूचुअल फंड्स के बारे में। लेकिन उससे पहले आप मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए, लाइक कीजिए, कमेंट्स कीजिए, शेयर कीजिए और हाँ, बेल आइकन को दबाना मत भूलिए। आपका प्यार और सहयोग आवश्यक है, तो सहयोग दीजिएगा। चलिए आज कुछ नया सीख लेते हैं। सो गाइस, आज हम बात करते हैं म्यूचुअल फंड्स के बारे में। लेट्स मूव।
ICICI Prudential Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2 Net Asset Value as on 16 November 2021 37.37.35. Scheme options are ECG and tax saver. 52-week low is 25.95. 52-week high is 38.35. This is investment growth chart. This is lump sum and this is SIP. This is fund versus category. Corpus is 60.36 and here is 520.57. 1 year mean return is 6.04. 1 year standard deviation is 4.94. This is fund versus peer. ICICI Prudential Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2. 1 month is minus 1.81, 3 month is 9.37, 6 month is 23.71, 1 year is 44.80, 3 year is 19.90, 5 year is 17.35. This is LIC Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2, UTI Retirement Scheme E Tier 2, HDFC Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2, Kotak Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2, SBI Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2. This is ET ratings. ICICI Prudential Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2. These are the ratings of 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 3 year and 5 years. Here we can see LIC Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2. These are its ratings. UTI Retirement Solution Scheme E Tier 2, HDFC Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2, SBI Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2, Kotak Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2. These are quantitative ratios. ICICI Prudential Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2, this is the current scheme. Birla Sun Life Pension Scheme, Scheme E Tier 2. SBI Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2, Kotak Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2, UTI Retirement Solution Scheme E Tier 2, HDFC Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2. This is asset allocation. ICICI Prudential Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2. This is equity 96.93 to 99.46. The depth is 0.00, now it's 1.18. Cash minus 0.39, now it's 3.06. HDFC Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2, LIC Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2, Birla Sun Life Pension Scheme, Scheme E Tier 2, UTI Retirement Solution Scheme E Tier 2, Kotak Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2. This is the portfolio. ICICI Prudential Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2. Number of companies 90. With highest exposure, Reliance Industries Limited. Number of sectors 15. Sector with highest exposure is finance. Then we can see these portfolios of this following: LIC Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2, Birla Sun Life Pension Scheme, Scheme E Tier 2, SBI Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2, HDFC Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2, UTI Retirement Solutions Scheme E Tier 2. Risk Return Matrix. ICICI Prudential Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2. Return is 5.95%, risk is 4.81%. HDFC Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2. 5.87%, 4.93%. LIC Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2. Return is 6.04%, risk is 4.72%. Birla Sun Life Pension Scheme, Scheme E Tier 2. Return is 5.28%, risk is 4.55%. UTI Retirement Solutions, Scheme E Tier 2. Return is 5.86%, risk is 4.77%. Kotak Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2. Return is 5.67%, risk is 4.59%. SBI Pension Fund Scheme E Tier 2. Return is 5.54% and risk is 4.94%. These are the top schemes. Fund asset allocation: equity 96.93%, debt 0.01%, cash 3.06%. Portfolio allocation: these are the sectors in technology, energy, financial, FMCG, automobile, metals, healthcare, construction, chemicals, communication. These are the companies: Reliance Industries Limited, ICICI Bank Limited, Housing Development Finance Corporation Limited, HDFC Bank Limited, Tata Consultancy Services Limited, State Bank of India, Larsen & Toubro Limited, Kotak Mahindra Bank Limited, UTI Asset Management Company Limited, Infosys Limited. These are the basic attributes. Inception date is 11 January 2010. Asset class: Scheme E. Account type is Tier 2. Minimum contribution per year is 2000. Benchmark: CNX Nifty 50. Synopsis: ICICI Prudential Fund Scheme E Tier 2 is an NPS scheme that invests predominantly in equity. This scheme is meant for Tier 2 investors under NPS. Investors get two accounts, namely Tier 1 account and Tier 2 account. Tier 1 account is mandatory for investors to join NPS, whereas Tier 2 account is optional. The fund lies in the third pentile based on the parameters of returns, downside risk, and consistency. Pentile divides the population into 5 equal parts, with each part containing 20% of the population. The first pentile represents the top pentile, whereas the fifth pentile denotes the bottom pentile. The scheme was incepted on 11 January 2010. Its portfolio comprises of 90 companies with highest exposure in Reliance Industries Limited.
सो गाइज आज के लिए बस इतना ही। कल फिर मिलते हैं, तब तक के लिए अनुमति दीजिए। नमस्कार। बोलो राधे राधे।